All right. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the My Own Husband YouTube channel. My name is Darren Wilson. I am the husband of the illustrious Charmaine Wilson, the founder of the My Own Husband movement. And we have a treat for you this evening. Now, I know you guys are usually used to seeing, the beautiful faces of a couple of wives here, but tonight this is a different vibe because we have some of the husbands of the My Own Husband movement coming on to give you the perspective of the husband. I know you all have always been hearing about the perspective of the wife, from the female's perspective, from the wife's perspective. But tonight, my wife, she has been actually behind me for the better part of a year to do one of these, and each time I've been declining because I don't want it to appear as though I am doing the husband's version to my own husband. So I just want to make that very clear. Tonight, this is not the launch of the my own wife version of my own husband. This is simply the continuation of a discussion that a couple of us had a couple weeks ago at a restaurant, where the discussion went on for so long that the restaurant actually closed on us. And then, my wife was like, something, I think you should continue that conversation so that others can hear it. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'll give it a shot. So that's what we're doing here tonight, called the Husband's Circle. And it's called the Husband's Circle because, husbands need it too. Husbands need community and conversation. Husbands need circles that they are safe in to be able to express themselves, to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to share things that pertain to them without feeling judged and castigated by society. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing here tonight. And I got an awesome panel of brothers here with me tonight. But before I do that, here's what I want you all to do. I need you to share, one, share, two, and share. Three things. That's all I need you to do. Three things. Share, share, and share. Why? Because I am convinced that the conversation that we will be having here tonight will be as beneficial to you as it was to us when we had this discussion all those nights ago. All right. So about the My Own Husband movement. The My Own Husband movement was started by, again, my illustrious wife, Charmaine Wilson, in September of 2019. And the idea and the goal was to give wives and wives-to-be community. That's the main word you'll hear throughout the entire My Own Husband movement. It's community. It's to give wives and wives-to-be a community that gives them information and gives them access to resources and tools that can help motivate them, and also provide an area or a zone that allows them to be open and honest in order to become better, in order to become, because we welcome any opportunity that gives you or that presents itself for personal development should be welcome. And that is what the My Own Husband movement is doing, specifically for wives and wives-to-be. The slogan, their mantra is better wives for better lives. So if you want to know more about My Own Husband, you can find them on Facebook at My Own Husband. You can find them on Instagram at My Own Husband Movement. You can find them right here on YouTube, the My Own Husband YouTube channel. All right. And if you want any more information, just drop a like on the Facebook page, drop a follow on the Instagram page, drop a subscribe on the YouTube page. And then while you're at it, there's a private group called My Own Husband, Better Wives for Better Lives. That group, from what I've been hearing, it's a pretty wild group. I don't want to know what I don't know what goes on in there, nor do I want to know. All I know is that these wives go wild inside of that group, because sometimes I see my wife cracking up over things that are in the group. So you know what? If you want that type of entertainment, jump in on that group. All right. So that's what this is. That's what the My Own Husband movement is. As the husband, I am extremely proud, not because I'm her husband, not because I am the one that's probably the one doing most of the work behind it. But I am actually I'm kind of an unpaid employee, but don't tell nobody. But I am elated to be a part of this, to see this thing grow. So I want to be able to see this thing push and develop. So that's why I'm doing this here for her. She's been asking me, and I kept saying no, but tonight I think that it was time to do it. So with that being said, I am about to bring on these gentlemen. All right. So please give a virtual round of applause for Paul Bell, Elric Martina, and Gino Olevaci. Gentlemen, turn your mics on, fellas. Come on. What's going on, guys? Talk to me.
Good night.
What's up?
To me. Elric, you still nervous?
No, not at all. Ready?
Let me tell you, before this whole thing started, Eric was messaging me, "Boy, I feel so nervous about this, I'm like, Eric, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine." So yeah. So if you look at him now, there's no more nerves. He looks like he's a pro at this already.
Even keel, he's good.
Even here, don't know. Listen. So, gentlemen, I am going to ask you to briefly introduce yourself, and then we are going to get straight into the discussion because it's already 8:42. We got a lot of ground to cover because the men and their wives would like to hear some wisdom tonight. Sorry. So I'm going to start with you, Gino. Introduce yourself. Who you are, how long you've been married, and give me a fun fact about yourself, sir.
All right. Good evening, everybody. As you can see, my name is Giovanni Olivaci, better known as Gino, also recently known as RP Gino. Been married for 13 years, going to be 14 years this December. And a fun fact about myself, actually, I'm not a fun person. No, I'm just playing. A fun fact about myself is that I'm actually very hilarious, but only my inner circle gets to see that. I am extremely, extremely playful, extremely jovial, and I like to dance. I like to dance wild and crazy, especially for the wife. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is actually a fun fact for real because I did not know that I didn't know that part of you, so I can attest to that fact.
Yeah.
Mr. Elric Martina, talk to us, man.
Yes.
Who you are, how long you've been married, and fun fact.
Well, as you already know, my name is Elric Martina. Have to remind people sometimes without a C, only a K.
You trying to say something, sir? You trying to say something?
Nah, not a thing. I've been married for 7 years and counting. I've been in a relationship with my wife, including the marriage, for about 13 years now. Fun fact about myself. My favorite dish, for the last time, give it away already, but my favorite dish is yambo. Don't judge me. It looks bad, but it tastes good.
Yambo. Okay. I don't even know what that is. So maybe sometime in the discussion we'll probably figure what all Yambo is.
No problem.
Yeah. Mr. Bell.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bell. Name, how long you've been married, sir, and fun fact.
So my name is Paul Bell. I am the husband of the very talented Malika Bell. We have been married now just shy of 2 years. We got married in August of 2019. We've been together a little over 3. Fun fact, I am probably the biggest Coldplay fan.
Coldplay?
Yes, sir.
I would not.
I didn't see that one coming.
That is a fun fact. Coldplay, bro?
Coldplay.
Wow. Okay.
They lit.
So you were one of those guys who secretly had a inner rock phase going on when you were growing up or something. Or
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, all right.
There were
That's
no
okay.
filters for me.
Just for you, okay. Coldplay. All right. And finally, last but not least, my name is of course Darren Wilson. I am the own husband of Charmaine Wilson. We've been married for this year will be 7 years, June. I hope I got that correct. Yeah, 7 years. I hope so too. We've been married since 2014, so y'all can do the math. And I've known her almost 20 years. She actually thought that we were going to be together when we were younger, but that did not happen. But nothing happens outside of its time, right? So we ended up meeting back up in 2012, and it was on from there. Fun fact about me, I don't like dumplings. I don't like dumplings. I don't. It makes no sense to me. I just think that it's a waste of space in any kind of soup. I think that is just a replacement for not putting enough meat. That's just me.
I agree with you 200%.
You see?
No case.
Maybe a little bit of dumplings, man. Just like a few, not a whole lot.
No. You know what else too? I also think that people who put the milk in before their cereal, I think that they're serial killers.
Wow.
That was my first dad joke.
Your cereal has no space if the milk is already there. Come on, get serious.
So those are fun facts about me. I don't like dumplings.
And cereal gotta sit on the milk.
No, sir. No, sir.
I agree.
No, sir. Dumplings are not for me. So if anybody wants to give me any kind of soup, please ensure that it doesn't have my wife tries to sneak dumplings in my soup sometimes, and I fish them out and give them right back to her. That's how serious, that's how committed I am to dumplings. This is the no dumpling zone. Okay, gentlemen, thank you for that information. Thank you for that fun fact. It was all to just break the ice and get the viewers engaged. I see the comments are going wild, especially with our wives. So that was the idea. So let's jump into the discussion. I'm going to throw this question right out, straight off the bat, and then we're just going to flow from there. All right, gentlemen, why in God's name did you get married? Let's just start right off the bat. Come out swinging. Now everybody go out together now.
How about the most senior of us answer this?
Wow.
All right, Tino, let's go. I mean,
Okay,
we got to space to the elders. We got to honor the elders.
All right. Why did I get married? I almost feel like a Tyler Perry movie. No. Why did I get married?
Part 1 and part 2.
I'm telling you. Okay. So I knew my wife. She was a friend then. Since 1997. We got married in 2007. And at the time we weren't really, I didn't see her like that, you know. She admitted that she wanted to be with me before I wanted to be with her. And right, that's just the truth. And I went away for college. She did the same. I came back home. She was in a relationship. She was engaged to be married, actually. I met the dude, actually. He came to St. Martin, and we went to service, all of us together, for New Year's. He came down for Christmas and New Year's. We all sat in church together.
You just pulled out, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I respected the boundary. You know, she wanted me to meet him because I was like her mentor. Every time she would come to Martin, she would come by me for Bible study. And so eventually she was engaged. she she was engaged. So, even though maybe feelings was arising at that time, I had to keep my distance. So eventually, that was like in 2005, and I think the guy went back to the US, and things didn't work out. And I think she was still here. She had come back to St. Martin, and they broke up. And I still didn't make no move.
And you saw, I thought you would have slide in. Okay.
Nah. Nah, I kept my distance. I was the shoulder to cry on, but that was it. That was it. And it was like, I
Mhm.
think 9 months later, 8, 9, or almost a year later, we started officially dating. And in 2006, early 2006, and then we were planning our wedding. We were planning to get married. And in 2007, in July, which was my birthday month, and we ended up planning for October, but we ended up doing it in December of 2007. And at that same time, she was pregnant with my first child in July of that same year. The same month we were planning to do the wedding, and so it just all happened together like that. We ended up getting married officially in December, um, and we've been married ever since. But it was a long story in the middle. I met her in a song festival, Interscholastic Talent Show, and then she was with her first daughter's um, um, father, and that's when I realized I had feelings from back then. I buried them because I wanted to keep the respect. But that's the story, the long and short of it.
The long and short. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, I'll go second. Um, why did I get married to my wife? Well, first of all, um, I got married because for me, I'm big on purpose. Anybody who knows me knows that the two things that run my life are the kingdom of God and purpose. And even though I knew my wife for over 20 years, it wasn't until 2012 where I got into the idea that purpose is essential. And she just happened to re-enter my life at the exact moment that the concepts of purpose and the kingdom were beginning to emerge. And I remember it clear. Yeah, I'll be nice. I'm not going to give you all the details, Charmaine. But I remember as clear as day. Um, it was August. I'm sorry. Easter Monday in 2012. That we went to. If anybody who's watching and you're from St. Martin, we have an area in Marigot that's called the Waterfront. We sat there on Easter Monday after we came from the beach. We sat there and I poured out everything. I let her know everything as far as purpose is concerned, as far as the kingdom is concerned, where it is I'm going, where I'm heading. And she said these words to me, and that's what sealed it for me. She said, "I feel as if I'm already connected to you." And that's when I knew that, you know what? Yeah, you're gonna be my if we weren't in a relationship. We had no discussion about being together. But at that moment, sitting outside that vehicle, I was like, yeah, we getting married. We weren't in a relationship. I had no idea that we were gonna be together. But what I knew is that this young lady here, she's going to be married to me because she understands the concepts of purpose. She understands the concepts of kingdom. She understands the concepts that of legacy and destiny and all those things, and that make couples commit to each other. Get this, despite the challenges. Like that's something we're gonna get into. Because if you don't have purpose, challenges can break you apart very easily. But once you need to get for a purpose, whatever challenges happen, purpose keeps you together. So that was why I got married. That was why I got married. Who's going next? Me, come on, guys. I ain't gotta call nobody.
I'll go next. Why not? So, Malika and I, like I said, we've only been together for just over three years. And it came at a time, we met at a time when neither of us was looking for anything. Like, I was single for some months, and I was like, I need time to work on me. You know, I wasn't broken. I didn't need healing per se, but I needed, that's good for you guys. To work on something. So a mutual friend of ours, she was like, Paul, I think there's somebody that I have somebody that I think you would like to meet. And I told her, I was like, no, I'm not trying to meet anybody right now, like at all. You know, I shut it down one time. And a little while later, maybe a month or two later, she brought it up again. She's like, yeah, she's really nice. You know, she's a singer and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so? Like,
Listen, if anybody doesn't know Paul, his facial expressions they highlight his
flesh.
So anyway, so this mutual friend, again, she comes at me and she's like, Paul, we're going out. She's performing. Come join us. We're going to have drinks and watch it. So I was like, you know what? I ain't got nothing planned. So I came closer to the end of her performance. So I walked in and I saw my friends. They were at the bar drinking, and I went straight up to where she was singing, and I stood there. And she's in this red dress, and I know this has absolutely nothing to do with the question, but we all gave out the story, so bear with me.
The red dress did it.
She was in this red dress, and I was like, oh, okay. And I stood next to her sister. I didn't know her sister as yet. Katie, if you're in there, good night. She's next to her sister. I stood next to her sister, and I'm looking at her from head to toe. And I could see in the corner of my eye, her sister is watching me from head to toe. And I just stood there. I stood there for maybe 2-3 minutes. I was like, okay, let me get my drink. Anyway, so I saw her, and in her intermission, she came over, she started saying hello to everybody. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, I'm in deep discussion with someone. I can't break this conversation, but if she comes in my direction, I will say something. Of course, she does not. I did not know at the time that my wife is completely blind. And I'll get back to that. Anyway, fast forward. You know, we started to talk a little, maybe a couple weeks after that. You know, I slid in them DMs. Had to do it.
Slide, brother, slide.
Safe. So we're talking. Everything is going well. It's sure we weren't related in any way.
Nothing to do yet.
It's very important here on this island. For those of you who are not from here, we need to know that we family. It's a small island. So I remember we're only talking online, and then she was doing her first Vision and Voice show. So I had to meet her to buy tickets. So we actually met twice because I bought for another friend of mine. So I met her twice and we spoke. She was very, very friendly. We spoke. And we said to each other, "Hey, we've been talking. Let's go out. You know, it'd be nice to go out." But I told her, I said, "I will wait till after your performance for us to go on our first date, March 25th."
The dates.
I remember everything. I remember everything. So, the night of Vision and Voice. So Malika is the type of woman, when she's performing, she likes engagement with the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
So she starts coming down to the audience, and she wants people to dance. You know, it's a Zouk section of the performance, and starts coming in my direction. So I was like, okay. I came with the mutual friend, and she's like, "Paul, go." So I said, "All right." I took a sip of my liquid courage. We're gonna do this. And in true Malika fashion, she walks right up to me and turns. Like, she had no idea it was me. So what did I do? I pretended like I was gonna say hi to somebody who was sitting over there, and I went straight back to. I played it off well. I am new to the game. Come on. Anyway, fast forward March 25th of the next year, we got engaged, and then we got married August 9th. The reason I got married, going back to the question, Malika has this grace that is something I've never experienced with anyone else. Like she's understanding, she is easygoing, she is funny, she laughs at my jokes. My jokes are sometimes hard to catch, but she caught them all. She's a great mother. So yeah, I remember I took a short trip, right? We weren't engaged as yet. This is about 4 months into the relationship. And the friend that I was visiting, he owns a jewelry store. So while there, he's like, "Hey, you want to check out any rings?" And I said to myself, no, I said to him, I said, "Let me see your engagement rings." And then I started to hyperventilate a little bit. Then I was like, oh, I'm getting married. Yeah. I was like, yeah. It all came to me all at once. I was like, yeah, this is the woman. And she's been the woman every day since.
Love that. Love that story.
Yeah.
Malika, if you're listening, you're the man, Grace. You're the woman of grace. Somebody say blush, sis. Yep. If she was, I'm pretty sure. Well, she's probably in the room with you right now. Mr. Yambo.
Hey. Well, for me, why did I get married? Well, they say if the fire burning, get married quick. Okay, that wasn't the main reason, but that's part of the reason.
Yeah, brother. Sad. You must have to marry quickly.
Yeah. So basically, I met my wife at a wedding that I wasn't even supposed to be at. Just it's like somebody got injured and they needed a replacement and contact my father. My father told me, "Hey, hey."
Wow, I like how this story going already.
Yeah, it's kind of fairy tale-ish, but I can't believe it actually happened to me. But I grateful nonetheless. So then went to the wedding. After you see this person, I'm like, okay, this person look really pretty. So now you're hoping that this will be your partner in the wedding, but it wasn't my partner in the wedding, somebody else was. So now my eyes just continue watching my wife. I couldn't just take my eyes off of my wife for 1 minute. And the partner I was with, the girl, she like, but go talk to her. I'm like, talk to who? Go talk to the girl. Obviously, you're watching her the whole night. And I'm like, is that obvious? So so after that, we started to talk. We did talk throughout the wedding. We got to know each other better. We got to exchange them digits. But you know, a long time ago, seeing on BlackBerry, sending them ping and receiving them. You know what back then.
Blackberries, yes,
Hey,
yes.
so after that, we started to get to know each other better. We started to actually was dating for 2 years, I would say, before we took the big step. It would be like 6 years into the relationship. We knew we was pretty young, but we already had known where we were headed. But certain obstacles came up where I had to go overseas to study, and she remained on the island. So the long distance and the time zone difference made it a big issue. And I felt after a while um, that I was kind of holding her back because of that I didn't see it working out after that. So I was planning to kind of at that point in time uh, end the relationship because it was very taxing
Oh,
to me and while studying and having to focus on school and also with regarding to the difference in the time zone and on distance. So usually what I always do before I make a decision, I pray about it. Um, so I read a bit about it and I said, God, if you want, this is the right person for me, then show me. I'm going to open your Bible and whatever pops up, whatever don't, then I know that's my decision.
Oh, you did one of those.
Yeah. But the next thing struck me, they said, be careful what you ask for now. So as soon as I opened the Bible, the first thing I saw was her name written on that scripture. And I was like, I saw that name, I closed the Bible and said I was Don D like Carlo. Say I love you. We meant to be together for the rest of our life. Like, but what happened? What going on? I said nothing, man, nothing, no worry. Then after we kind of decided to okay, how we gonna move forward with this, and then she came up to Holland for a few weeks, and from there we decided, hey, why not just get married? Because we know it would have been making, but we just didn't know how it would have gone and the future would have been looking forward for us. And I must say that has been the best decision of my life ever since. That's one thing I know I don't ever regret. And since then I've been blessed. They say who finding a good thing find favor, so I find it a good thing and I obtain favor.
amen.
Yes.
And also with favor comes flavor.
Favor comes. I love. So listen, whoever somebody put in the chat. With favor comes flavor. I love that. Elric? Oh, one thing I want to ask you, Elric.
You tell me.
Where is that verse that has your wife's name in it?
Yeah.
But I ain't remember that. And I just was looking for the name and that's it. But to me, the verse, I was just looking at the name and that was it.
It was the bookmarker, no?
It was correct. But I have a lot of books, so I wonder how come I didn't even know the name was in the Bible.
What? I didn't know that either, and
That's
yeah. So okay, but yeah. So thank you for your stories, fellas. You know, and I appreciate you being so open and candid. And the reason I asked you why y'all got married is because sometimes the theme for like I mentioned for this month that my husband is on is it's
I think Darren is stuck. Is it?
Darren gets frozen.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, it's kind of how it is on St. Martin.
That's so true. Oh man.
But he looks, you know, he looks like he's
I
speaking with conviction. That's what I could
yeah. That looks absolutely powerful right there. And Sally missing out on it too.
Somebody take a screenshot. Somebody take a screenshot. But guys, I heard Elric say from time he met his wife. Now, this is the first time he met her, right? He said, I met my wife. And I had someone that I work with recently ask me, why do you call Malaika your wife? Why don't you ever use her name? I was like, she's my wife.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. When you hear the word husband, what comes to your mind? Because I had to explain the whole thing about wife and what it meant to me.
That's true. But to me, when I had a going into marriage, it was a bit different because my mindset was changed because I didn't know what was, like you said, the definition of, I didn't know what was a husband. I know what was to be a boyfriend. I know what was to be there. But now that I hear the word husband, I think on responsibilities. I think on leadership. I think on providing. I think on making mistakes to be a better husband. To me, that still stands out to me more now. And sometimes you won't get it in the beginning, but I understand it now.
Yeah. For real, Elric. When I got married, to be honest with you, you're excited. You know you're going into this thing, and we were having counseling. I could still remember we was having counseling, and you know I in church for a long time, so you would think that's 101, right? You should
Exactly.
know what's husband, right? But boy, oh boy, I realized went in this thing, boyfriend to husband is a
Yeah.
different ball game. The commitment level, the for real, the
True.
responsibility level, and I think what stuck out for me the most, apart from the responsibility, is the whole aspect of the like covering, like
Correct.
taking
That's true.
care of, being that shelter. I mean, as a boyfriend, I was like, okay, I see you some days, I ain't see you the other day. We planning time
Exactly.
to. Husband is, oh, you know, and I wish that I had taken time in the beginning to understand that more, because then a lot of the stuff that happened, I think, would not
Correct.
happen the way it did if I had known about that better. Yeah, for real.
That's true.
And you know, the things that both of you said, and you know, in thinking about it, I couldn't agree with you guys more. It's for me, it's like it's a covering. You know, I'm supposed to be the head of the home. I'm supposed to be a provider.
Mhm.
I'm supposed there's such a great deal of responsibility that
Mhm.
comes with that title, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So you know, before we got married, we were in counseling as well. We actually got counseled by three different couples.
Wow.
So
Very
we
nice.
spoke, yeah. So we spoke to three couples that exhibited things in their relationship that we liked. So, you know, the first couple, they were together at the time for about 5 years. The next couple for about 8, I believe it was. And then I also
Mhm.
spoke to my godmother and her husband. They've been together for 40 years. And
Ooh.
That's wisdom.
it's a lot of wisdom. And it surprisingly, as much wisdom as she shared with me, my godmother, in her from her long relationship.
Hmm.
I think some of the biggest gems came from the most junior,
Oh wow.
and it
Mm.
really opened my mind. It opened my eyes to what marriage meant for the kingdom of God, one, and
Mhm.
then what my role is as a husband supposed to be. And I was like, wait, for real? I thought it was we just
Yeah.
we living
Yeah.
together. There's no shacking up. You're my wife now. But
Right.
it took on a whole different meaning. Uh,
Right.
I'm someone that responsibility. I'm fine with taking on responsibility, but it was on a level that you're not prepared for it. Like nobody
Right. Right.
there's no rule book for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. You know,
But
like I told that person, you know, the term wife for me is all encompassing. It's the exact same for the husband. It's all encompassing.
Exactly. But you know the thing is too, because sometimes it's so taboo as well, where people don't like to talk about this, as in um you're okay, you want to take that next step, okay, but they don't like to tell you, hey, what prepare you for, you can never be completely prepared either, but at least to
Right.
an extent, as in, hey, this is what you're getting into, your
Yeah.
Yeah.
financial aspect, your you know how it is to lean on one another. 1 minute is your downtime, how does she pick you up? 1 minute is her down, how do you pick her up? You know, like things like that. And even the biblical aspect of it, as you know, some people like to you know, apply the authority within marriage, but what about being a servant in the marriage?
Mhm.
And so it's like these things, it's like people don't like to talk about it, but it's very, and like for me, we had counseling as well, but we were married before, and then we had the counseling after. And I do wish that I had the counseling before, so I could prepare myself to be a better version of myself going into marriage. And it is really helpful. It's really helpful. But yeah, I think it starts with us too, with breaking the trend, and I believe that's why a lot of marriages don't last these days too, because they don't know what
Exactly.
to get into.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with you. It
All
Hey,
right.
hey,
Ah,
Why you call it a party? We're just having a good time.
my this internet. I don't. Anyway, let me not complain. I'm back in. So before they decide to kick me off again. So yeah, tell me what I missed.
Well,
What,
we would go ahead, Paul.
no,
you,
just tell me what I missed.
you
we were
missed.
talking about what husband means. What comes to mind? You know, Paul was asking a question of you know, what comes to our mind when we hear the word husband, because he said, like, when people would mention, you know, he would always say his wife instead of Malika. He would say his wife.
Fun
Wife.
fact, I don't.
And because that's his, you know, and so
She's gonna kill me for that one.
Yeah.
So what? So okay. So if I can jump in, what comes to mind when I hear the word husband? What comes immediately to mind is legacy. And the reason legacy comes to mind is because as a husband, that's part of the responsibility to provide legacy not only for your children but your wife as well, because she now has your name, right? She now has your name, so you technically are providing a legacy for her as well. Of course, she has her own. She developed her own legacy in her own right, but she is now going to be part and parcel of whatever legacy you decide to create. So that's what comes to mind.
I got you. Legacy.
Exactly. Very important, man. Very
Yes, sir.
important.
Yes, sir. So Gino, I think you knock him out. You know.
I don't know what's going on with this thing tonight now. The conversation too hot, man. It's too hot.
Yeah.
Now what happened now?
And now this what you got a screenshot.
This thing. Anyway, this is not going to stop me. Let me ask this. As far as your marriage is concerned, your relationship with your wife, um, what I started to say before I was cut off the first time is the theme for this month that my own husband has is honoring celebrating husbands. It's my husband for me. And the idea is to celebrate husbands. What would you say, or what do you say, or how do you deal with the idea that you may hear some people say, well, it don't take all of that. It doesn't take all of that to celebrate your man, or much less your husband, because in this culture you're kind of gonna have that kind of that sort of vibe, that sort of idea that's permeating society. Well, they don't take all of that. It's because if he's a man or if that's your husband, he's supposed to do that anyway. What do you do with that? Because if your wife wants to celebrate you, how do you combat those naysayers?
Get married.
I was thinking that. I was so
Hey!
thinking the same thing now.
Yeah.
But getting married doesn't to me it doesn't say or show anything though, because all right, a lot of people get married. I saw on social media the other day somebody that's a friend of mine posted that and said that, you know, what sense it is to get married if all, you know, all their married friends could just complain about their marriage. So that kind of is what prompted that question. You know, why how do you combat people, you know, saying all these negative things about marriage? And then on top of that, if your wife wants to celebrate you, how do you as a husband combat that? Besides get for me it's this. I post a lot about my relationship.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. To me, as if you seen there are a lot of people who are saying that, you know, the marriage isn't working. Okay, well, I'm supposed to show you that it does. And I ain't doing it to show myself. I'm not doing it to yeah. It's about, there's one narrative out there, and apparently that's the only narrative you're seeing. So I'm posting a different narrative. You know. So what else, you know, what do you think can be done to combat that kind of stereotype?
I guess
Well,
taking action.
oh,
Oh, sorry. Being an example, as in what you display publicly. So while you're on the street, while you're on the road, you know, either you put your arms around you know, I know these are things too. You don't have to be married to do these things, but doing it consistently, and it shows that, hey, even though, and not only letting people know the good side, because you can have time to even go through tough time, because you want everybody to see, oh, marriage is all gloomy as well too, because they got good and bad sides to it, but it's how you deal with the situation. But just yeah, let your actions and how you treat your wife determine that, because at the end of the day, people only learn, or people could only, how to say, they act based on what they see, and sometimes on what they hear too, but most people don't think what they see, in my opinion.
Right.
I agree with that, because we live in a time and in a culture. Most of us are here on the island. You know, it's people. All you hear about the last couple of years is haunting. Like it's haunting season.
That's true. That's true.
That is
You know, it's even gone as far as, you know, the floor of Parliament. You're hearing the same narrative. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing.
It is.
And my wife and I, we want to show people that, hey, there are couples that are loving. There are couples that are monogamous. There are couples that, you know, they are happy with what they have, and they don't need to go anywhere else to find that happiness or gratification or anything. Like, we are good. And we want to show people that you can be good and you can be in love with that one person that you commit to.
yeah.
Ain't haunted even over here.
it ain't haunted season over here neither.
Nah.
You're right.
Nah. I'm listening to your question, Darren, and as I listen to the responses, you know, it started to develop in me why that question is important, because especially from a kingdom, Christ-centered Christian perspective, I just want to throw that out there, because I find marriage from that point of view is heavily attacked, in my opinion, more than a lot of the alternative, more modern lifestyle type of marriages. You're trying to live principles, like we like to say, by the book, in a modern society that's telling you don't live by the book. Just You know, everybody doing it, everybody wife swapping, everybody husband swapping, everybody
Mm.
sharing, everybody. So, you know, when you part of the culture that is saying, putting pressure on you to be like them, and you take a stand and say no, monogamy is in for me. Monogamy is where it's at for me. I want to be with this person and this person only, and I want to celebrate this person only. I think just like the way other people are and you know, are putting their stuff out there and celebrating their relationships. And you know, I don't have a problem. You celebrate you. I think likewise, we should be able to celebrate our spouses publicly, and you know, don't feel no way about it, because in the end of the
Right.
day, um, you know, it's us taking a stand and saying our marriage matters too, and we want to share our love for each other exclusively, just like you're sharing yours, you know, because I find a lot of times you have alternative
Exactly.
groups that are really public and vocal about their relationship. How do I see that?
Very
Right?
true.
And just like how they want us to respect their openness about their relationships, you know, it's a free country. Likewise, we should be respected for wanting to be with one person and celebrating that, you know, and not being ashamed to go public and say, this is us, and this is who we are, you know?
But even the reaction that you get from certain people when you tell them, when they see a ring on your hand and they say, how old are you? And you tell them the age, and it's like, you married? And it's like,
Hmm.
they just saw a miracle happen in front of their eyes. And I'm like, really, this is, it goes to show how cultural it is right now, and how marriage nowadays as well. Like,
Right.
like, does marriage has any value at this point in time? I mean, I don't know about
Yeah.
other people's marriages, but I mean, hey, I haven't fun. I mean, so and I don't, I still don't understand how people could not have fun with the marriage. But yeah, I
Mhm.
don't know.
Do you think that as husbands, you think that we deserve to be celebrated? Like it's something that we that is something that's
Yeah,
our right to have.
yeah, yeah. I'm going to take a sip to that one. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you, okay, so let me flip this question, or make it twofold.
Okay.
What does your wife do, or did, or is doing, or has done, that makes you feel celebrated? And also, too, what do you do to celebrate yourself?
Oh,
Mm.
We're talking about, I mean, if you don't know how to celebrate
Yeah.
yourself, how
Okay.
can you expect your
Right.
wife to celebrate you? You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
that question is twofold. What do you do to celebrate yourself? And then what does your wife do to complement the celebration of yourself? Because it ain't, to
Okay.
me, I mean, people gonna say, yeah, well, you're arrogant, you're showing yourself, you're proud, you
Yeah.
celebrate,
Yeah.
fine, whatever.
Yeah.
You stay there in your sulky corner. I'm gonna
Yeah.
celebrate the gift that is Darren Wilson. Yes, I
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
I'm a gift. And
Okay.
and what do you do with gifts? You celebrate
Yeah.
the fact that somebody gave you a gift. So if I'm a gift to my
Right.
wife and she decides to celebrate and honor the fact that I'm a gift to her, I'm gonna let her.
Right.
But I can't do
Right.
that if I don't see myself that way. So, what do you
Right.
guys do to celebrate yourself? And then how does your wife
Okay.
compliment that?
All right. Well, I could answer that. You know, the journey to the development of that is very interesting with me, because when my wife met me, she met me always celebrating myself, but not every day. Special moments. Christmas, I buy myself a gift. I wrap the gift. I put it under the tree. I write Filipino from Santa. And I write it in a different handwriting, right?
Are you
And I put
serious?
it under the tree. I buy myself. It's once a year. I get my bonus or whatever. And apart from buying other people, including her, something, I buy myself a gift because it's something my mother taught me before she passed away. You need to honor yourself. Because if you don't honor yourself, then you won't understand how to honor other people, you know. And if I could just go to the book say, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So if
That's
I
true.
don't love myself, how I gonna love my neighbor, especially a wife? You understand? If I don't
And
have self
how can
value,
your wife love you, right? How can your
how
wife
can
love
my
you
exactly,
or
exactly,
celebrate you or honor you or all these things that we want a wife to do? If you can't do it to
right?
yourself, how we expect her to do it to us?
Exactly. You know. So that and for my birthday too. So there was at least twice a year, at least twice a year, I bought myself a birthday gift because if nobody else don't look for you, what you
That's true.
so I buy myself a birthday gift and I buy myself a Christmas gift. So that's how I showed honor to myself at least twice a year. And then um when I get a haircut or when I get myself I feel in your, you know, you're like fellas, you know, you're feeling
Yeah.
yourself. So you get your hair cut, you do what you do. Every time I get my hair cut or shave, I would leave the barber shop and make a little video of myself with music playing in the vehicle and just
What?
whiling out.
You know, you
And
feel
that's
yourself, you know.
and no, but look, that's me honoring myself. I did something for me to boost my self confidence and my self esteem. So you know, I'm showing like I honor myself there, right? And then my wife used to say in the beginning, "I don't need to compliment you. You always complimenting yourself." Or I don't need to do this for you. You know yourself. You know for yourself. I say, yeah, I know for myself. But it would be good to hear it from you too or know it from you too.
So
So
Exactly.
one of the
okay,
things,
go ahead.
yeah, you know, because that was a big thing in our marriage. Why should I tell you you look handsome? Why
But
should I tell you?
how important is that though? Like how what why is that a big thing for us? Because I feel the exact same way.
Yeah, men by nature, and it's just a psychological need. It's not a bad thing. We men by nature want to be affirmed by their women. And you know, we mightn't get it from nobody else, but you know, from your woman, your life partner, you want to know that that person, just like she wants to know that you find her sexy or she looks good or her hair is nice. A man also wants to feel, you know, that his woman looking at him, she checking him out, she find he's attractive. So that, you know, it's a sense of affirmation, and it makes you as a man feel like, okay, you know, my woman see me as somebody she finds attractive, she wants to be with. You understand? But if you are a man that have a lot of self confidence, or she in her eyes, that's what she feels, right? That you have all of this self confidence and that you don't need affirmation from her. I think that that's two different ends of a stick. You affirming yourself, you doing that for yourself, for self-confident purposes as a
Mhm.
man in this world. You understand that trying to make a life for his family, you gotta
Mhm.
affirm, you know, you gotta, especially as black men, just keeping it real,
Exactly.
you know.
That's true.
But your woman telling you those things is a different, it's a different realm altogether, for lack of a better word, you know.
So what would you say then, Paul, for for the or Elric, anyone, for the people that say, if I gotta tell him, you know, that he handsome all the time, I ain't babying him, I ain't his mother, I ain't got to tell him that. What
But
do, what is your response to that, though?
I
I ain't
think
mother.
I think thinking about it, some women might have the perception as in, if I tell him he look good, then he might start to feel himself even more, and then he might, other people might start to see that other confidence. They might want to hold it back a little, just so don't get to your head, because sometimes it can with some people it can actually go to your head and you start to feel yourself a little too much, and then you forget why she told you that in the first place.
Right.
So you have to be they might be hesitant, but just like what Giovanni said, you still need an affirmation, because as guys too, as men, you don't normally hear other men complimenting other men either. So you don't really
Exactly.
hear that, boy, hey, you're looking good today. Now, you start to say that sounds a little strange. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like,
Suspect. That's suspect now. You're suspect.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's a little sus. My son to say that's dad. That's a little sus, dad. That's sus.
Correct.
You
Exactly.
serious?
My son tells me, yeah, that's sus.
But
Oh,
whereas for women now, they might if my wife go to the supermarket or go to the store, you might even hear another female saying, "Oh, I like your shoes," or "Hey, I like
Exactly.
your hair. Where do your hair?" They already gotten that affirmation from even though it's important for us as husbands to give it as well, but it's even important for the wives to give it to the husbands, because we don't get to hear it from other gender either. So
Point. That's a good point.
That is a. You see, I had Eric on here for a reason. The man got wisdom,
yes, sir.
in his small stature, but he got wisdom. That's actually, I love that point, Eric. You said that because I never thought about it that way. Actually, women, you always find other women. Sometimes we would go out and then people would tell my wife, "Oh, that's a nice dress," or "I love the
exactly,
earrings," or whatever. But I've never had a dude come up to me and say, "Yo, that's a cool shot," Never.
Right.
exactly,
So
Right.
I see that point. Women get the affirmation. So sometimes even if they don't get it from us as husbands, they still getting it. But we don't get it, period.
Correct.
So then now, because to me it appears as though it's almost set up for us to feel dejected and deflected even before we get out the gate.
correct.
So how do I ask this?
Yeah.
How do I
Yeah.
ask this? What
Yeah.
happens? What happens in the event that somebody else begins to celebrate you,
Ah.
Wow.
and by somebody else I mean another female,
Correct.
and
Ah.
and so would you tell your wife that listen, so somebody else is that this person, or do you just let it play out because that's like something that we crave, so because you're not getting it at home and you're getting it out there, even though it don't turn into anything
Correct. Exactly.
sexual, like Derek Jackson said, you had a sexual relationship without having sex, even though it don't turn into that. How does that make you? Do you feel guilty about that?
I wouldn't say guilty, but I would feel more ashamed and embarrassed that I don't get it at
Mm,
home. If you
mm,
don't get it at home, so I would feel like, wow, this is one
Um.
other person recognizing me, but what about in my own household recognizing me? It could. That's what I would feel. But thank God it don't happen here though. So I just said,
yeah, I mean, I kind of figured that. You feel so. If I understand correctly, you're saying that you won't feel guilty, but it will be hurtful.
correct,
It'd be
correct.
hurtful that
There's no need to feel guilty about it. You're not actually doing anything wrong.
Mm,
For me, I would say, my wife goes to work really early, and so when she's leaving the house is when I'm getting up usually. So what I oftentimes do, I stay in full work get up until she gets home to get my affirmation from my wife. Yeah. Whether she coming
That's
home
good.
at 6, 7, or 8, I in full work clothes. Hey, babe, what you saying? As soon as she come to the go, oh, this is what you look nice. Thank you. Now I can go take it off and go shower. Um,
is that serious?
is that serious? Is that serious? But when I see, I don't, like I said, her mornings are a lot. They have to be a lot earlier than mine. Our daughter goes to school for 7:30. I don't have to be on the job until 10. Darren knows this. I'm getting better. I was there at 9 today. I promise.
Progress. Still progress is still progress.
Oh
We
God.
working. We leveling up. Anyway, so
I
there we
saw
go.
what you
Nice,
did there.
nice.
So my wife does not fail to compliment. She does not fail to celebrate me, and I appreciate it. Wife, if you're listening, I appreciate you very much. It's a lot different to how things used to be in my life before her, but it's a blessing, and I don't feel guilty, and I actually tell her when I do get compliments. But to what Elric said, we don't get compliments from men. That's very true. But believe it or not, I have wives on the job that would be like, my husband wants to know how you buy your pants. I'm like, are you
Ah,
serious?
So they're not
Right.
going to come directly, but they're going to come indirectly. I got you.
Uh-huh.
correct.
Right.
I got you.
Right.
Set
I
my
got
belly
you.
off in the right direction. Thank you very much, wife of dude.
Correct.
But
So go ahead.
Darren, I just wanted to say that I think though on another note though, because affirmation, like I was saying, affirmation is an important part of interconnected relationships, interpersonal relationships, right? Is how because human beings see themselves through the eyes of other human beings, right? And so if your wife is not affirming you, and other women constantly be telling you, why you looking fine today, boy? Why I liking the look? Why check the hair? Or check why I like that shirt, boy? Why Gino? Because I would get him fine, right? By you're driving, but you're taking your children to school, and a woman stealing a look like this on the side, watching
Breaking a
you
neck.
in the traffic while you going so and she going so, and you understand. And so if you are not a person that um gets affirmation or from the person that you're with, the tendency to want to take that energy from whoever else giving it to you, if you're not a strong person, right? That's how a lot of men I find to get caught up in, you know.
Correct.
Oh, why why check this one, check that one, look at this, look at that, and subtly, you understand they're doing it. Whether they like your bald head, or they like your plait of head, or they like your height, or they like your I mean anything, right? And they try to capitalize on that. So I think it's very important. Affirmation is very important in a relationship.
That's true.
So then if that is important, then what are some of the things, because we can't just say, if the wife doesn't want it to celebrate that that's something different. But could it be that sometimes as husbands we are doing some things that turn them off from
Yeah.
actually complimenting us, that from actually
That's
affirming us, as you said, like what are some things that you think that we do as husbands, whether knowingly or unknowingly, that could turn them off or let them know that, listen, yeah, no,
correct.
no. What are things that we do as husbands to prevent them from celebrating us?
Moods,
Right.
Moods.
moods.
Moods?
Yeah,
What do you mean by moods?
I can be very up, and you know, and the very next moment I could be very, very down, and I could stay down for a considerable amount of time. So
Got you.
if I come home with that, you know, she could be like, hey babe, how you doing? Blah blah blah. How's your day? And I'm like, yeah, it was great.
Okay, I feel the same way. Ain't no shame in this game. I am the exact.
It happens.
same.
It happens,
Yeah.
and it could set off her night in a direction that she didn't intend. And sometimes I
Mhm.
when I'm starting to come out of it, I'm like, oh boy, I really,
Yeah, you dig a hole there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I dug a hole. I ain't got no rope. I ain't got no ladder to climb myself.
And
just
she
have
ain't
to
showing
step
up with, yeah.
I think for me though, I think that at this stage of the game, I think my wife has figured me out, because it used to be a problem early on. I think at this stage she's kind of figured me out now that okay, when this happens, he needs some space, give him some space. Eventually he'll snap himself out of it, and then we can have a normal night, as she would call it. Then we can have a normal night. Right now it is not normal, but in that period though, what I'm grateful for that she still does is she still finds ways to facilitate conversation,
Yes.
without being overbearing.
Yes.
You know,
So
because yeah, because so sometimes as a wife, they want to talk, so they just come in guns blazing, like chihuahuas.
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at this.
Paul is laughing on the inside. Don't worry.
very loudly, very loudly.
Paul is laughing on the inside. I know that. But, and sometimes it's like it gets annoying after a while. And how she said in the chat, she usually asks me if I'm ready to be normal, and that becomes a joke because sometimes it is like that. But like I was saying, she has learned that to go easy, because it's better to tiptoe your way in, and feel your way through the situation than to come in and then to get
Blast out,
completely blocked out, and that's gonna be another situation in and of itself.
Exactly.
So and I think that has helped in understanding how best to celebrate her husband, because it all depends on what has gone on in the day. And once you begin to open up, then because my wife is very discerning, very perceptive, so I could say something and immediately she figures out that okay, yeah, this is what needs to happen, and then and and we end up having a normal night afterwards.
You took the word right out of my mouth. My wife has a level of discernment that it's starting to get scary.
Scary.
There are times,
Bro.
there are times that
Bro.
there are times when the mood could be anger, it could be anger, it could be disappointment, it could be I'm down on myself, like I'm starting to get depressed, or whatever pressure that I'm dealing with outside, and I'm just quiet. And just a couple nights ago, my wife starts to celebrate me in the midst of this, and she knew exactly what it was without me saying. So she just started, you're doing all that I need you to do. Everything is fine.
Wow.
And I'm just like this. Thanks.
These for good.
We need it. Wives, we need it. We need it sometimes too.
I don't think, and guys, listen. If any wives on here watching, aside from all wives who just going wild in this chat,
they inciting violence over there.
violence, yeah. Jeez. I want to say something to the wives who probably watching. in case you didn't know this or you don't know this, you have no idea how important it is for us as your husbands to hear things like what Paul said, that you are doing all that I need you to do. You are doing an excellent job.
Yeah.
You
I
got
love
us.
you regardless.
I got you.
Yeah, I got
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
You don't know how important it is to hear that. You may think it's a small thing, and you may, even if you say and you don't see any immediate reaction from us, rest assured that that thing is sinking itself deep into the recesses of our heart, so that we know that eventually when we come out of this, at least if we don't have nobody else on our side, at least we know we
Right.
have this
Exactly,
one
exactly.
person. And I think that that's the psychological. I think Gino mentioned that before. The psychological aspect to it.
Mhm.
As husbands, we feel that it's us against the world.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's
And
good. That's good.
it's
That's true.
it's easy to see it that way
Yeah.
Mhm.
because sometimes it appears as though everybody else is against us. And then when we come home and sometimes, our wives unsuspecting don't realize that, it's been, a rough go, and they begin to talk down or disrespect or dishonor on top of the disrespect and
Yeah.
dishonor that we experience on the outside. It's almost as though we don't have no peace in the world, and then we don't
Correct.
have no peace at
It's
home.
at home.
Where do we go? What do we do? What can we as men do if we're not celebrated at home? If we're not celebrated outside, you could have a dead end job, a job that doesn't do much.
Correct.
But when you come home and that same energy is translated in there, we're twice defeated.
Yeah.
Twice defeated.
Yeah.
And it helps us to develop. And I'm using that word because sometimes as husbands, wives help us develop. Now, I'm not saying that you are to baby us. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Correct. Correct.
I'm
Correct.
not saying that. So for anybody who is saying that, yeah, but if I gotta affirm him all the time, that's me babying him. No, you're not. That's not what's happening. You are actually helping us to develop to the level that we need to be in order for us to be the husband that you need us to be.
Right.
But it's just to not to cut you across, Darren, but it is also
Alright, go
important.
ahead.
We as husbands, because you mentioned what can hinder that, but we as husbands also have to give that affirmation to our wives as well. Because if they don't
Yeah.
receive that, they're gonna feel like, why should I give it back? So
Mhm.
that's
It's
very
not
important
reciprocal,
as well too.
right? Okay, I see it because it's almost like it's an exchange. So
Correct.
it's
Exactly.
not tit for tat, like because I affirm you, you're gonna affirm me, but
Correct.
it's almost like if I'm interpreting it correctly, let me know. It's almost like it's a mutual understanding that
Mhm.
we're going to do this for each other.
Yeah. It's got to
Exactly.
be reciprocated. Yep.
It-
Yep.
You understand?
What were you saying, Gino?
I said this is why so much the Martin man just leave their wives and go by Gisbela or Conchita or or Isabel.
Happy,
Boy.
happy, bang. Do you want something to
And then-
eat?
I mean, not us. No, not us.
I don't know what you're talking about. So if my wife said, I have no idea what I don't know those names. I don't know those individuals.
Exactly.
No
I
Spanish
don't have.
name.
I don't know
Exactly, you see.
any Consuela, Conchita.
Estrella, Conchita, Isabel, Gisbela.
I don't know them. Mr. Charmaine, I don't know any of them.
You rattling these off like DMX. My God, you know. Who these Spanish women you know so?
Boy.
Huh?
Listen, so, okay, well, listen, because of the internet issues, it kind of hinder us a little bit. But we run up on time. But definitely, listen, Let me ask you out something in the comments. Do you want us to come back and under better internet circumstances and kind of finish or continue this conversation? Please put the Malika, no need to get violent, okay?
Oh,
Please,
nah.
no need to get violent in this chat.
Always gotta show her ways. Listen up. I met her at a resort, but she from the bush.
She's
Yeah.
Where you from? We from the bushes. Yeah, okay. But if you think that this was cool, this was awesome, if this needs to have a part, a continuation, not even a part two, just a continuation, put that in the chat, and we will see how we can make this husband circle happen again. But as because we gotta wrap up, I don't want to go too long. But let me ask this question because Elric touched on something that kind of springboard into a question about expectations. You said that you can't have the wife affirming you and she not be affirmed.
Right.
That's a question, or that's a statement that lends itself to expectations. What were some of the expectations that you had coming into marriage, as far as what you're gonna do, what you're gonna be, how you're going to handle things, and not after being married for. Did you say how long you were married in the beginning? Did you say that? I don't think you did.
He
You
did.
did? How long you were married, Eric? Ain't like 7 years?
Exactly 7 years.
Yeah, okay, good. So you came in with expectations, and in the 7 years of development and the fusing together of oneness, how have some of those expectations changed?
Well, one crucial aspect for me was the expectation of decision making. At first, it always was for me that the male have to make the last decision, but nobody teaches you how to reach to that point to make the best decision.
Ah,
Oh, wait,
That was
stop.
good one.
Say that again.
That's a good one, boy.
everybody, they expect you to make the last decision, but nobody teaches you how to reach to make the best decision. And
Mm.
I had to learn that the hard way as well too, because in the beginning of my relationship, I was for me it was a little different because I was a when you're boyfriend and girlfriend, there is room for error, but when you're married, there's not much room for error. So you can't really, you can make mistakes, but it's how you make a mistake. So
Yeah.
it's like the decision that the mistake that is going to happen is going to affect both of you, and if you have children, it's going to affect all of you. So if the one person is better making a certain decision, let's say for financially, or let's say spiritually, in any regard where she is the best at, then as a husband you can allow her to make that decision.
I agree.
But sometimes it comes down to, and that I've learned too, that it's okay to make mistakes as the head of the home, and that's the only way you will learn. That's the only way you're gonna be able to be a better leader. And it's one thing to have a wife beside you that is, they don't want you to make the mistake, but at the end, in the back of their mind, they want to be right in their decision. So it's like, oh, if you have to go left, you see, you should have gone left because so and so happened. If you listen to me, I went right. But then, if the wife changes your perspective and be more like, okay, and I hear you say you're going left. I hope it all works out, and let's hope that the left is the best decision. Let's pray that it becomes the best decision, rather than I hope it's the wrong decision. I could tell you that I was right.
It was the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Correct. So you see, and for me now, it's all about what did I learn from making that mistake? How do I not make that mistake happen?
Right.
And lucky I have the support of my wife that she allows me to lead her. That whatever happens, that like he said, if a mistake happens, I got you. We can move forward from this. And because we don't want to make mistakes. We're not there to make mistakes, but we're just looking for the best of the family. But sometimes
That's good.
It's really good, right?
That's
Yeah,
good.
so-
We don't go into it intentionally wanting to make a mistake. That's good. I love that.
Exactly.
It's correct. So I had to, you know, so that was kind of my expectations going in, that, you know, we don't have that much room for error, and we have to really make the not just the right decision, but the best decision. And for me, I'm still learning that process, but
Mhm.
as I make mistakes, I become a better leader, and my wife is allowing me to become a better leader.
So you're saying that there's a difference? This is good, man. Listen,
Yeah, we
there's
need
a
a part two.
difference between the right decision and the best decision. I did not see it that way. There's a difference between the right, because you can make a right decision, but
Correct.
is it the best decision for the situation?
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we gotta stop now for real. Oh my God, we gotta do this again, man.
Yeah.
He just brought up something.
Say
He
again.
used a word. He used a word there. I know we gotta go, but you used a word there that I did not learn going into marriage, that I was to be, along with my wife, leader.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
That's
Exactly.
different than just spouse, than just partner.
Exactly.
Leader.
Exactly.
It come with something, you know. And many of us outside of marriage wasn't a leader. We weren't leaders on our jobs, maybe. We weren't
Exactly.
leaders in our churches. We didn't know
Exactly. We
just
learned how to lead, and now we got married, and we are automatically by default thrusted into
Exactly.
leadership position, and now we
Yes.
just floundering. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Woo. Jesus, the entire Christ. This was
Telling you.
this is listen, okay, we really have to stop because it's already 10 o'clock. So listen, if y'all want this to happen again, please put in the chat, or okay, no. But yes, put in the chat, but share it and say they're coming back. Share it and say they're coming back. Just do that. Share it and say they're coming back. All right. Gentlemen, you see my hands on my head because yeah, it was that good. It was that good. Listen, before we go though, I want to do this. I got to do this, right? Just to close off, just something fun. I want to ask you a couple questions that I call this or that questions, and it's really simple questions that you have to answer within 5 seconds, and tell me what you rather. Okay.
Don't get me no trouble now.
And
No.
if you
Yeah.
if you want to motivate your answer, you can. But this is how we gonna end it tonight. All right.
Okay.
So, and you know, anybody can answer. That doesn't really make a difference. No, you know what? No, scrap that. I'm gonna call y'all out. Paul Bell.
I ain't trying to get in trouble like 175 Mighty, yeah? Cause he sound like he's in all kind of trouble. I ain't even know you, but I feel
I feel for him. I was watching the comments. I feel for him, yeah. This one easy though. This one very easy, simple. Captain America or Superman?
Captain America.
Wow.
Captain America. Okay. Gino,
Superman.
coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Oh, like he switch up on you.
Oh yeah, no, everybody getting the same question. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee. You a coffee man?
5 cups a day.
Oh,
Black,
wow.
no sugar, no cream, black, raw. Just like that.
Wow.
This is when you don't sleep more than 2 hours a night. Now I know.
I vicious like that. Black, raw, no cream, no sugar, no nothing.
Gino. That's why you got all that energy up this 3 o'clock thing like that.
Up push-ups and all kind of thing. Prayer. Watch it.
Yeah,
He ready?
yeah. Now we understand. You see why these things is good. Now we understand some of the idiosyncrasies. Now we get it. You're a coffee man. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It makes
Eric,
perfect sense.
Eric,
Tell me,
Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah. Gotta watch up
All right.
NBA highlights.
FBI. All right, I got this one. This one for me. I can ask this one. Phone call or text? Please, please send me a text.
Yeah. That's true.
But
That's
don't send me a voice note.
Don't
Oh.
send me
Voice notes.
a voice note. A voice note constitutes as a phone call, bro. If I have to hear your voice, it's a phone call. Send me a text.
Just call.
If I have to hear your voice, it's almost like it's a phone call.
That's
I
true.
I rather just read what it is you have to say and then be done with it.
But women slick, you know. When they just want to say what they got to say, they send them, because this is me for 20 minutes.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a phone call. That to me is a phone call. And
Oh,
to
God.
me, it even looks foolish because I have the phone to my ear for 20 minutes, not saying a word, but I just listening to something for 20 minutes. This is
Yo,
crazy. Just
it was funny when you're like that, right? And somebody on the job is like, "Hey, you on the phone?" You're like, "No, not really, not really." Okay, go ahead.
if you can't text it, it doesn't need. I don't need to know it. Simple.
Wow.
That is how I feel.
But Darren, what gonna happen when the text too long? Because sometimes we send you a text, man, the text is an epistle.
But and that's the thing, you know, it's a text. If there's reason we need to say, you can wait till you see me.
My
Well,
boy
that's
said,
true, yeah.
"Yes, sir."
Yeah. That's
And
true.
here's the next thing, you know.
Rolling.
My wife would she would do this. She would call me for something, and then 2 minutes later, call me again. And then 10 minutes after, call me again. I'm like, but so you could literally just send a text to tell me everything that you just took 5 phone calls to tell me.
No. Because if she send a text, then you have proof of it. But if she call, you might not remember.
Elric, you're a wise fella, no?
Hey, Eldrick, he understand the game.
Elric, you're a wise fella. You know something? I think on that note, we can end there. Elric, you're a wise fella. I wasn't up on game, but you just put me on game there. You just put me on. Now, I'm never answering a phone call. Put it in a text.
And I was witness to it. Darren, if I ever see you answering a phone call from
Slap the phone out the hand.
Wilson, it's gonna be me and you.
Slap the phone out the hand.
Send it in a voice note to let you know my displeasure.
Well, I just see this comment from 175 Mighty. Who is 175 Mighty?
I
It
don't
was
want
good.
to be in trouble.
Though I must admit, I believe that you guys should target more men and take the discussion deeper and make it multicultural, because you're not only targeting St. Martin people but global citizens. 175 Mighty. Sir, you are absolutely correct. This is the first discussion. Let me just say it that way. I have no idea who you are. Maybe if you could put your name in the chat, that would be helpful. Rosaria said, "My own husband is he." Oh, okay, cool. All right. So he's your own husband, but I don't know his name. But nevertheless, he has an excellent point, and we will be working on that, sir. So have no fear. This is the first of many. So we will work on that. Sound like a plan? And maybe you never know. If we call you to be a part of the panel, I hope you don't say no.
That's not a good idea.
Then.
All right, fellas.
Oh, wow.
Time for us to get to our own. I could have snatched your wife years ago. Never, bro. Never.
You see,
Trust
now
me on that one.
opening a whole can or something else.
Trust me on that one, bro. Never. Never. You could have never done that.
There's
You could have never done that. I'll just say she had an eye on me since back then. So yeah, sorry, man. But you bagged the good one. I'll just tell you that you bagged the good one.
Curtis. His name is Curtis. We're gonna find you, Curtis.
Yeah, we're gonna find you.
We gonna pray for you, right?
Yeah, we're gonna pray for you, Curtis.
Put some hands on you.
Anyway, fellas, this husband circle was real. It was fun. It's a pleasure. Thank you all for being a part of it and joining. I don't even have anything else left to say. So if you have any last words, shout them out. I'm just going to shout out my own wife for giving me her platform that she is so graciously built and allow me to grace. Thank you. I love you.
That's true.
Malika, I'll see you in a minute.
Oh gosh, mine was
It's
an
been a
honor to be
pleasure.
on this one.
Yeah. I really enjoy this. I'm looking forward to the next one and probably the next one. And I don't know, Darren, maybe the next one after those two other next ones. Who knows, right?
If it becomes a thing, then it becomes a thing. But right now, it's gonna be letting it grow organically.
Right.
Yep, let's do it. Let's do it that way.
Yeah.
Those of you who might not have it yet, My Own Husband merch.
Well,
Yeah.
Get
I
yours.
need
All right,
one.
guys. So listen, don't forget this replay is going to be up on YouTube. So go ahead and share it. The replay will be available. Share the link with everybody that you know. If you thought this discussion was fruitful and beneficial and full of wisdom, which I know it was, especially from Elric. The guy he unassuming, you know, but the guy got some knowledge. He's in the belly of God.
God bless
Thank
him
you guys
well.
enjoyed. Oh,
God
well.
bless him well. I thought Elric was 12, 13 years old when I first met him, like 2-3 years ago. This man married with children. I was like, what? I gotta live better. I gotta live better. I gotta read my Bible prayer every day.
So share this with your peoples, guys. Don't forget the My Own Husband Movement. Like the page, My Own Husband. Follow us on Instagram, My Own Husband Movement. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and look out for more content because My Own Husband is a movement that is taking the message of better wives for better lives to every single wife that they can across the globe. Okay, so it's not just a Caribbean movement or localized movement. It's a global movement and it's growing by the day. All right, so get involved, be involved, like the page, keep up with everything that's being done, be a part of the My Own Husband Better Wives for Better Lives group. That group is wild. You'll love it. All right, guys, that's it for us here. We will see you on the next husband circle. 2 fingers.
yeah.